Actually, I wanted to ask in terms of, because you're all branded, are there people still going at it as independents in the mid-scale segment, or is that kind of just,
There always will be.
does it make it any?
There always will be, because our industry is so bifurcated. There's so many, and people have been in this a long time. You think back to the conferences they used to have in Chicago and say, here's 10 brands, they're going to take over the world. Well, you get somebody that Mark Williams starts Mark Williams Inns, always
that sounds good.
That's always going to happen.
But because the industry is so bifurcated between owners, operators, developers, real estate people, you're always going to have somebody that's in Hearn, Texas, that says, I'm going to build a mid-scale in here, and I don't really need a franchise, so I'm going to call it the Hearn Inn, or I'm going to call it the Williams Inn, and say, hey, this did pretty good, I'll build one down the road. Just think of all the regional chains over the year that Gus bought, that went over to Choice, and when they get bought, someone else starts up. It's the nature of our industry. I've been hearing for years and years how big brands are going to put little brands out of business. You're going to have, but there are always going to be niche players. There's never the market's going to decide how many brands fit, and the market's going to decide who survives and who doesn't. Right. But there'll be many mid-price, economy, luxury, all sorts of rooming houses that are built by independents that may decide they need to affiliate down the road, or may decide, hey, this works real good, I'll buy it, I'm going to do another one for my own account.
Let's stick with Texas as an example, because I've got a number of guys that have Best Westerns. They'll go into these markets where they want down and out, single story, the exterior corridor, two-sided.
Right.
I want to drive up, throw my junk in, but they still are going to put a pool in, exercise room, nice lobby, nice breakfast, because that's what the guest wants. But the guest also doesn't want to climb stairs, and they want to be able to see their trucks, see their guns, or whatever the hell they have in the back. But I swear to God, that's what, and they will do it on their own because they know we're not going to flag a single-story, double-loaded exterior corridor property. He won't, for the most part. He may on his conversion, economy, but not on the mid-market. Yeah. But on the mid-market, now they were putting things in there that they know the brands want, but they won't take it because of X.
Right.
And they're printing money. Yeah, they're doing extremely well.
I think you're absolutely right, Mark. The independent play works when you're not the first or second or third buyer in a hotel. It's usually when the debt structure is fairly low, and it makes some sense. You don't need the power of a brand behind you.
Right.
But I think the independents also can work, though, if you're in the upper mid-scale or go into the boutique section, where you actually have an identity that you're trying to drive. It could work in some markets. Right. This is a good example here. It can be right below the scale.
I think those are the extremes. I think you get them completely on the budget side, or you get them on the higher end. I think in the mid-scale, I think you're still going to see further consolidate. You're going to see consolidate. You see less and less. Brands, regional brands, being successful cycle through cycle. It's just it's a tough thing. I think you get your second breath, your second win, but it's just economics, and it's tough.
Yeah, it's difficult to make money, and you have to be able to buy and leverage the scale of the larger brands. To be able to purchase products and things that you just can't do it on your own at that level. Right. It's very difficult.
They leave their guns in their flatbeds, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they do.
And then they...
In the rack, right? Yeah, but be able to see them when they look out the window.
Right, make sure they have their eye on the gun.